Republicans have turned themselves into pretzels trying to defend the president. But with every day bringing more and more evidence of indefensible behavior, some of Trump's fiercest defenders are turning to the president's favorite tactic, attacking the investigators. In an interview last night, Senator Lindsey Graham tried to claim that Ambassador Gordon Sondland changed his testimony to affirm a quid pro quo with Ukraine because he's in cahoots with Democrats.
Now, here's a question. Why did Sondland change his testimony? Was there a connection between Sondland and Democratic operatives on the committee? Did he talk to Schiff? Did he talk to Schiff staffers? I've been a lawyer for a very long time. When somebody changes their testimony, they suddenly recall something they didn't know before. It makes me incredibly suspicious.
Well, appearing with President Trump at a rally last night, Louisiana Senator John Kennedy took his cue directly from the president himself, going after Speaker Pelosi.
And you know what our Democratic friends have done for him? Speaker Nancy Pelosi is trying to impeach him. I don't mean any disrespect, but it must suck to be that dumb.
For more of that, we're joined by Rick Taylor, Republican strategist, and Nadeem Al-Shami, former chief of staff to the aforementioned House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. You know, Daniel Patrick Moynihan, one of my heroes, said that there's such a thing as defining deviancy downward. So even guys like this respected senator is talking like he's on a street corner yelling crap at somebody out the window.
It's unbelievable. It is a complete change of the Republican Party, and it's unfortunate. But Democrats should not take the bait, right? They should not be talking back to these senators or to the members of the House. They should keep the focus on what's really important, and that's this impeachment process, this impeachment inquiry. I know it's hard, right? It's hard not to fight back. It's hard not to push back, but don't take the bait.
Explain the politics of trash talking. When you can you ignore the evidence? Do you just bolster your base? What do you do?
When we don't have an argument, you attack people, and that has worked for Trump to some degree. But you know, I'm reminded of
like his father of Ted Cruz killed Kennedy.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing that's too atrocious.
It just seems at the time it seemed so ridiculous, but then you sort of realize that a lot of people actually believe that. I mean, they look into the tabloids and they think, "Oh my God, this really happened." But these guys, they don't have a case. In a normal communication cycle, you'd have a comms team that would coordinate with the senators and all the members and say, "Hey, we think this is the best way." They go out and poll test it. They do all the right, and then the president is sort of like, you know, comms is like landscaping. I mean, if the grass is cut and the hedges are trimmed, they don't pay much attention to it. But Trump is going to do his own comms, and so people won't go out and take the risk because he'll simply change the message, or they'll understand, look, I know you did something wrong. What are we going to say about it? Here's what we're going to say about it, and we're going to stick with that. That's not the way Trump operates. He's going to change the story. And then everybody's going to look foolish, so everybody's afraid. Yeah. So now you have a dysfunctional comms delivery system. So there's no message. So you were just saying in the last segment, you know, the consistency of the testimony that's been given in the skiff is remarkable. The inconsistency of the argument against impeachment by the Republicans has been abysmal.
You know, Lindsey Graham, for example, the guy, you know, he's been around a long time. I used to think he wanted to be one of those classic Southern, a lot of them were bachelors, Southern senators, serve their whole life and end up having a building named after you. You know the history of those guys, like those guys, Richard Russell and all those guys. And now he's just looked like he's working for Trump, not for history.
Well, that's exactly right. That's the point I want to make. The communication strategy is pretty simple for Republicans right now. It's an audience of one. Right? You are not talking to the people on the outside. You are talking to one person only, and that's President Trump. So if he say what he wants you to say, or he hears what you're saying, and then that's it. Then check that mark for communication strategy. You don't need to poll test that. You only have one person to poll test, and that's President Trump. And that's unfortunate, right? Because these members and these senators are not looking into the future. They're looking at today.
What about legacy? The reason to be a senator is to have a legacy for your family. I think in the long